What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here and back here for another video for you guys. As you all know, it is Spurs against Chelsea tonight. Massive game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've got a very good video for you today, looking at a combined 11 Spurs against Chelsea, but not the current side. This is an all-time Premier League combined 11 with Lewis G of Blues Fans TV. Let's just see how many Spurs players we're going to be able to sneak into this one. But look, I'm really excited to bring you this content. I hope you guys enjoy it. But just before we get into it, let's bring you a message from our sponsors. All BT Sport customers from this week will be able to enjoy the brand new features on the award-winning BT Sport app called the Matchday Experience. Absolutely brand new for the first time ever, with sports fans currently unable to enjoy live sports within the stadiums, and trust me, it is gutting for all of us. The Matchday Experience is an immersive and innovative way of getting closer to the action. All 5 Matchday experiences are available on Apple and Android.
The 5 Matchday experience features include:
Watch Together, the only service in the UK allowing fans to watch, see and chat with 3 other friends alongside any BT Sport broadcast. Thanks to a split screen interface, any BT Sport customer can create their own Watch Together room and invite anyone else who is a BT Sport customer to join them to create a unique match viewing experience.
360. Watch live action from a range of sporting events in BT Sport's best ever 360 service. The enhanced service of 360 with Matchday Experience provides 360 picture quality never seen before. A new pinch and zoom functionality enables fans to home in on their desired areas of interest to make customers feel like they are at the ground. 360 offers viewers the chance to select a different camera angle and a viewpoint not normally seen in broadcast.
Manager mode. Customers have the choice of adding real-time graphics as part of the matchday coverage augmented on the pitch. The feature provides informative and insightful stats such as player names, player speeds, and a mini-map tracking the positions of all players for a unique tactical viewpoint. Later this season, a shot velocity tracker will become available.
Stadium experience. Fans can use an augmented reality doorway in the BT Sport app to be transported from wherever they are into an exclusive behind-the-scenes experience of leading football teams and sporting stadiums. Depending on the club and stadium, these include areas such as dressing rooms, dugouts, trophy rooms and tunnel areas.
And finally, Matchday Live. Fans can access team lineups, formations and in-game stats brought to life through the stunning augmented reality from wherever they are watching the action.
All 5 Matchday experiences will be available for tonight's massive London derby, Tottenham versus Chelsea at 8 o'clock at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, live on BT Sport. For more information, check out the link in the description below.
All right, and now let's get into the content.
Back again with Lewis from Blues Fans TV, previewing the Chelsea game on Thursday, but we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to do a combined Premier League all-time 11. I'm saying my prayers now to see how many players I can get in, but I'm going to look. We got a few good ones. Lewis, it's good to see you back on, mate.
Yeah, man, it's great to be back on as well. Great to chat to you and Ben as well. It has been ages. Also, I'm glad that the form hasn't been that good for you guys as well, because if we were talking about form a few weeks ago, I would have hated coming into this preview. But now things have changed a little bit. I can feel a bit more optimistic. I feel a bit more gassed about my team. I'm happy. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, we're both coming in not great form. I think you've lost 4 out of your last 5 away games, and we've won 2 of the last 9 games. So I don't think either of us to be confident. But as you say, but look. We're going to do a Premier League all-time 11. We're going to go with the 4-3-3-4 or 4-2-3-1 formation. That you've played a lot, we've played a lot, and yeah, let's do this. You got all your players in your head. Who you're going to have it for each position? There's probably a lot of Chelsea players you could pick.
Damn right, I already know which positions I'm isolating, which positions I might have to be a bit calm about. I already know we should be dominating this one anyway. I can say this one with chest and be proud with it.
Look, there's a few I know I'm not conceding any ground on. Anyway, let's get in. All right. So in goal, obviously I'm going Hugo Lloris. You're going with who are you going with?
You know exactly who I'm going with. Big Pete himself, 80% save percentages in his entire Chelsea career. in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in Premier League history, let alone Chelsea history. There can only be one guy for the job, and it is Petr Cech.
Are you going pre-head injury or post-head injury? What kind of
Pre
Petr
or
Cech are you going with?
But the answer's the same way, regardless.
Not the Petr Cech that turned up at Arsenal, thankfully for you guys.
Hey, no. We ain't going to speak too much on Agent Petr Cech is completely. You already know, in for the paycheck, same way of Willian and David Luiz. You already know the thing.
Well, I think Hugo's underrated. I think he's one of the top keepers to have played in the Premier League over the past few years, and he did win a World Cup winning captain as well. That can't be ruled out for the France side, and I think he's been very consistent. But yeah, it's going to be very hard for me to argue against Petr Cech, I must say.
Yeah,
I
mean, no, I was going to say I'll give Hugo credit. I think he is, especially this season.
All right, we're going to give you Petr Cech for the goalkeeper. Moving on to right back, I think I might be in a bit better standing here. I've got Kyle Walker on my back pocket here, one of the all-time great fullbacks actually at right back. Considering Gary Neville's known as like the best ever right back, it's kind of slim pickings. So I think Kyle Walker's in with a shout for maybe best ever right back in the Premier League. So especially with his time at Spurs, he was definitely the best right back in the league at the time with his pace. So I'm going Kyle Walker.
Yeah. I can't lie, and you make a very good point as well. You can say he's probably up there, one of the best of all time. But that also says how mad low the standard has been in the Premier League for ages. Yeah. And it's also crazy now that we're here and we've got so many brilliant right backs in the Premier League right now. You're looking at Reece James, looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker still playing in the Premier League as an example, Tariq Lamptey, James Justin. It's mad.
Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka as well. There's so many brilliant options at right back now. It's just, where were all of these guys like 10, 15 years ago? I'm still throwing Ivanovic's name into this, in my opinion, especially in the later years. This guy started improving so well going forward as well as defensively, but was an absolute brick wall at the back. Especially crucial to, I know it's not the Premier League, but especially crucial to other cup competitions, especially the run to the Champions League final in 2012. I understand Kyle Walker, and it's a good debate, but same way, I think Ivanovic has edges this one as well.
You think Ivanovic edges it?
Mm-hmm. I can't.
You think Ivanovic was a better player than Kyle Walker?
Prime Ivanovic, you're damn right.
No, come on. Kyle Walker with that searing pace, you can't get past him. And the way he flies forward.
Athletically, I'd probably give it to him. But I think Ivanovic was the better defender. And I also think the only thing I would give Kyle Walker over Ivanovic was speed. I felt like in terms of strength, in terms of mobility, you could still get the same thing out of Ivanovic. It was just Kyle Walker's faster, he can cover more ground. So it is also up to taste. It is more of a debate than I think some of the other positions are. But same way, I'm still going to stick with my guy.
Do you think Ivanovic is one of the top right backs of all time?
Yeah, definitely has to be. Definitely has to be. Kyle Walker can be up there as well, but Ivanovic has to be in the conversation for at least not top 2, top 3, in my opinion.
I think Ivanovic was a better defender, but Walker always got bailed out by his pace and always got him out of situations he got himself in. And then going forward, I think he's just so much harder to deal with than Ivanovic. I know Ivanovic always popped up with the odd goal from a corner and a few assists as well, but I just felt Kyle Walker's a different animal when you're facing him. You'd much rather be facing Ivanovic than Walker, I think, when as a winger or fullback.
I would say, I think you're really underestimating how good Ivanovic was going forward, especially when you're going to around the 2013-14 period of his career. But I can also understand why you would go for Kyle Walker, because he's quicker, he can cover more ground. That's what you want in a fullback as well. So it's more to taste on this one. But again, same way, I'm still going to go for Ivanovic on this one.
I'm putting Carl. I'm getting someone in there, so I'm getting Carl. We're getting one in early. I'm not letting this stream go on. It's Chelsea. I need one in early at least to get that monkey off my back. All right, left back. I've got Danny Rose, which was one of the best fullbacks for about a 6-month period. But other than that, we're actually not blessed with great left backs. Maybe Asu Akoto. Christian Ziga. No, I can't really say any of those with my chest. Really.
Sim. You know what I'm gonna say, right?
I know. I don't want him in.
You
I
know
don't
what I'm
want him
gonna
in.
say, and you know I don't even need to say too many words on this guy, Ashley Coleman. That do we really need to go into reasons why, especially
To be honest, to be honest, the way he pisses off Arsenal fans makes me happy. To be honest, the way he gets under their skin, I can't deny that. It makes me
we
smile.
could all unite in Arsenal slander. Come on.
Yeah, come on. I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, so Ashley Cole gets in there as the left back. Centre backs. I think our best two of all time, probably Ledley King and probably Jan Vertonghen. I would go with those
Oh,
two.
you rated Vertonghen over Alderweireld?
Just about, because I think he was here longer, and I think he was pretty consistent over the long period. Toby's kind of had 1 season on, 1 season off kind of thing, which has been a bit frustrating. He obviously had a great start. His first 2 years, he was one of the best in the league, but he's kind of had a bit of a drop-off since then. And I think Jan Vertonghen actually, after those first initial 2 seasons, was actually better than him up until like his legs went last year. So I think Vertonghen's probably slightly edges it for me, but you could either pick either, but it's going to be tough to get them in this team.
I would go for John Terry and Carvalho. Obviously, the partnership with the least goals conceded in Premier League history. I am happy to say that Carvalho can be an honourable mention in this, only because I do think his name deserves to be mentioned anyway. But same way, I can understand it going one way for both of us, and I'm accepting that. Ledley King was an absolute baller back in the day. I'm not going to speak anymore.
I appreciate that.
And John,
I appreciate
the same way John Terry has to go in there as well.
Yeah, in the era of cancel culture, I think Terry's very lucky to get in this team, but he just about makes it, I think.
But yeah, let's not speak on outside the football issues, because please, let's terrible lights.
I think him and Ledley will make a decent partnership. They probably won't be happy together, but I think him and Ledley for sure. That's a pretty solid pairing. All right, so in the midfield two, I think our best two will probably be Luka Modric and Moussa Dembele. Probably, I would say those are their two. Who? Carrick, Michael Carrick. I don't think Carrick gets in there in our best ever. He was only here for 2 years. I've got some off-screen help. I think Dembele and Modric are the two I'm putting forward.
That's two defensive midfielders. There's a couple options of us. I'm thinking Makaleli, the guy who basically defines the lone DM role. N'Golo Kante, who can play in a DM, but everyone says he plays in a DM, so I'm just going to throw him in that position anyway. Even Michael Essien, who in his prime definitely deserves to be up there. It's just he didn't see it for long enough because of all the injuries that were going on in his career. There's a couple options for us, but I will just go for Kante and Makaleli as the two that I would pick. Obviously, I understand one of your two.
Kante,
Makaleli will be the two for me.
I mean, I think Moussa Dembele probably misses out on this one, despite how good he was. I think he was always missing that one element to his game to kind of to get him to the upper echelons of like a world-class player. I think he was always like an excellent player, but he was never a world-class player, like players like Modric. And I think Makaleli just has to be in there just because he literally has a role named after him. They literally named a role after this player. Like, how can you not have him in your all-time best team? He was an unbelievable player. So Makaleli, and I think you got to put the Ballon d'Or winner in there, Luka Modric. I think he won the Ballon d'Or as a deep-lying player. I don't think there are many better than him in what he can do in that position.
I mean, we wanted him. If it weren't for your owner, we would have had him, which. I mean, we'll get past
Thankfully, Daniel Levy did one over on Chelsea for once there.
Yeah, I'd say we did one over on you guys by getting Willian, but did one over on you guys.
I don't know. I'm not that disappointed with Willian at the end of the day.
Loki, I wish we didn't disrupt those contract talks, but we moved. But same way, Luka Modric can definitely jump in this one. Again, we wanted him. Absolute quality player. I still wish we had him, to be honest, but take him. That's cool.
I'm taking Luka Modric and Claude Makaleli. All right. I'm getting some players in here. It's not bad. All right, in the attacking midfield position, I would probably go with Christian Eriksen as my pick there, but I know who you're going to pick in this position.
Captain, not going to say manager, legend, Frankie Lampard himself has to go in, our highest ever goal scorer. We don't even need to ignore everything that happened past that, because what a great transitional manager as well. Left the team for Thomas Tuchel's treble ceiling tricky blues to come back and restart the title path that Frank Lampard left us behind on. But yeah, Lampard has to walk into this one. Has to.
I've always had a big appreciation for what Lampard did over his career. And for me personally, I've like that whole Lampard-Gerrard debate. I've always fallen on the side of Lampard. I couldn't believe people who picked Gerrard, to be honest, despite what Gerrard can do. I thought people always say the difference between Lampard and Gerrard is that Gerrard kind of makes the team better and he lifts the team in crucial moments. He steps up, and Lampard doesn't do that. And then people point to like Gerrard's goal in the FA Cup final and his goal in the Champions League final. But like Lampard did exactly the same. He scored in the Champions League final. He scored in a winner in an FA Cup final as well. He always popped up in very crucial moments for Chelsea. On top of that, he was getting numbers from midfield that the best strikers would have been proud of in that position. And he did it over like a 10-year period or something stupid like that. 10 years, like consistently getting between 15 and 20 goals in a season for a centre mid. So he was absolutely outstanding player, and I think he's disrespected in that debate a lot for me in the Gerrard Lampard debate. Yeah,
definitely for me as well. And I think you said it perfectly with the way they look at both players and the impacts that they have on their squads. But the reason why Frank Lampard isn't really looked at so much is because of the amount of personalities and the players that we had in our squads. Gerrard, fair play, he wasn't in as good of a Liverpool squad as we had as a Chelsea squad, but same way, that's the product of your surroundings. Like Frank Lampard, even in a team full of superstars, was the one getting 20 goals a season consistently from midfield for 8 seasons plus. And even then, he was racking up on the assist count as well. And we're talking about telepathic partnerships. You understand the Kane and Son one. Lampard and Drogba was the big partnership until Kane and Son turned up. So their link up is half the reason why both of them have all down scored as many goals for each other as well.
Yeah, and I'd love to make a case for Christian Eriksen, or who obviously gets a lot of goals and assists himself, but it would be hard for me to make an argument that he's better than Frank Lampard, who was just elite. I think Eriksen on his day was a world-class attacking midfielder, playmaker, and one of the best in the league.
Loved the goal as well.
Yeah, that goal at Stamford Bridge when we broke the hoodoo was a special goal, and he loved a few assists. Dele Alli obviously also loves a goal against you, but I think Lampard. I'll give you Lampard on that one. All right, so Lampard gets in left wing spot. This is going to be a tricky one because I'm going Gareth Bale.
Oh, we're in for a debate here. Nah, I understand Bale. I really understand Gareth Bale. But same way, we are not going to leave the player of the decade out, in my opinion.
Player of the
decade. I said it. Player of the decade. No Premier League player has racked up more man of the matches than Eden Hazard, or in as many seasons as Eden Hazard. This guy, game in and game out, was the best player on the pitch nearly every time he stepped foot onto the pitch for 7 years straight. So, I tell a lie. The only season where he didn't get the most man of the matches in a season was 15-16. And just a little break season for Eden. He needs it. It is what it is. But same way, player of the decade, and the only player I could really hear in a comparison to him is either Aguero or David Silva. So, nah, I get Bale, but nah, I can't do it. I can't.
Obviously, if you're talking maybe about consistency, you might have a point, but if we're talking about who is the better player of Hazard and Bale, you can't tell me Hazard ever had as good a season as Bale had in his last season at Tottenham. I don't think any season, you can pick any season out of Eden Hazard's best for Chelsea, even when you're winning leagues and whatever. I don't think he ever had as good a season as that in that single season.
I don't know. In terms of statistics, definitely not. But in terms of his technical ability as a player, I'm not sure, because I could put 14-15 Hazard in there. I could put 18-19 Hazard in there as well. But like, I understand on a numbers game, yes, Gareth Bale carried you lot that season, and he was ridiculously good. Like,
I don't know, has Hazard ever got 20 goals, Premier League goals in a season? Because Bale got 21 that season. I think he got 30 in all competitions. He was just scoring goals out of, like, he would just pick the ball up and just smash it in from 30 yards, like time after time.
He was never really that type of player, which is why statistically Gareth Bale would take it over Eden Hazard. But with Hazard, and we say it so many times at Chelsea, it's about more than just the stats with this guy. It's about the way he is on the ball. It's about the pass before the pass. This guy on his day is genuinely unplayable. So again, it's like the Kyle Walker-Ivanovic debate. It's just a case of taste. It's this one.
It is. It's very. You know what? It's actually quite similar to like in terms of aesthetics. It's very similar to like Ronaldo versus Messi kind of debate.
Yeah,
it is quite similar because but like Bale's a lot more like Ronaldo in how he plays, and Hazard's a lot more like Messi, and they both get similar outputs, and they both are similarly as good in certain areas, but it's just kind of like who you prefer to watch in a way.
Yeah, if anything, like the thing with Eden Hazard was just he always left you wanting more, which was even more baffling with how good he was. This guy was ridiculously good on his day, but he would still leave you just sitting there as like, if only you just took the game a bit more seriously. Like, I like that he's calm and he's Eden Hazard, because that's how you get this Eden Hazard. But I always had the question of what if, but that's just an understanding of how crazy good this guy is as a football player. Again, it is all just up to taste on this one. It's like the right back debate.
All right, I'm going to put Bale in there. I'm going to just put Bale in there just because of that. I think Hazard obviously is an outstanding player, but I just think when they're both at their best, at their very best, I actually think Bale was slightly ahead. Slightly.
Okay.
But it's tough one. It's a close one.
We move.
On the right, who would I even have on the right? I mean, we've got Aaron Lennon. I don't really want him in there. Who would I?
I mean, that would make it really...
Nah, because he's known to playing on the left for us. I don't know who would I have on the right. Who would I have on the right? Maybe Son. We'll put Son there. Son will be my right winger. Doesn't really play on the right, but we'll put him there. We'll put him there for the right wing.
Well, for going for players that don't really play in the position, I'm gonna throw Gianfranco Zola in there, because
Zola.
If it's not Zola, I don't really know who I'm picking in that position. I can't lie. It might be Joe Cole, it might be Ian Robin, but I feel like Zola's the only one that has a bit of longevity in him for that. Like Joe Cole, I liked him, but same way. There was a period where he was just a massive super sub for us. He was a brilliant super sub for us as well. There was also periods where he was struggling through injuries for long periods. So it's like very few and far between with him. But he was a quality player regardless. But if I'm going to look for anybody for longevity, it would have to be Gianfranco Zola, in my opinion.
Zola's a hard one to combat. He actually joined Chelsea at 31 years old. And considering he stayed there for so long, like he was there for quite a while, like he was there for what, 7-8 years or something? How long was he there for?
He joined in 96 and left in 2003. Like he literally left before.
7 years.
Yeah, it's about 7.
Yeah, 7 years. And he joined at 31. And like you think nowadays, you think about that. If you sign a player at 31, right? And you think they're going to stay for 7 years and be one of your best ever players, like that's unheard of. You don't sign players nowadays for 31, and that doesn't happen. That's such an anomaly in modern football.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's another one where it's close to Eden Hazard, where it's just this guy's technical ability was ridiculous. Like obviously, Gianfranco Zola was before my time, so all I can really go off is YouTube compilations and stories I've heard from Chelsea fans going to grounds. But just based off whatever I've been watching, ridiculously good with the ball at his feet. His dribbling is mad. Sir Alex Ferguson apparently saying that he needed about 4 or 5 players to single-handedly man-mark Zola out of games. And even in some points, he'd still score, and it would still baffle him as a manager himself. Gianfranco Zola was carrying us through certain points, especially in You like the before Roman years. So yeah, I'd have to go for Zola. Also, they're gonna call me a giant plastic if I go through this entire combined 11. I don't go for anybody before Roman joins. So yeah, Zola has to go in.
Zola. Son though. Son. I would say the Son of this season probably gets in. I would say the Son over the last few years is an excellent player, and who's unbelievable finishing on both feet, dribbling ability, and I think he would probably rival Zola, but Zola just had that bit of. I think Son might get in there, you know. I think Son might get in there just because his raw pace and his ability from 25 yards.
I get that, but it's also unfair in a sense, I think, because you look at the players, you look at what's asked of players in this day and age compared to 20 years ago, and I think players now can do so much more, and they aren't just isolated to their positions, if that makes sense.
Well, Son actually outscored Zola after with having played 50 games less. I'm reading breaking news. Looks like Son's getting in there. Looks like Son's getting in there. Son has got 65 goals and 35 assists in 180 games. Zola has 59 goals and 42 assists in 230 games. So 50 less games and he got 6 more goals.
Fine, just take Son or move. It's fine.
Oh, we're taking Son. And now the big one. The big one. This is going down to the wire because I've got Harry Kane, obviously.
Oh yeah, sure. It's me. I'm obviously gonna go for Didier Drogba. I understand we're going through Premier League history, so I know exactly the hole that I'm digging myself into. But yes, I'm going for Didier Drogba.
And you think Drogba was a better player than Harry Kane?
Yes.
But Harry Kane never, in terms of pure goal scoring and in terms of players who you'd want in your team to score goal after goal, I think you got to pick Kane. I think Kane is more likely to get goals, and I think he had a bit more variety to his game. Whereas I know Drogba was an absolute world-class number 9. You're ruthless in front of goal, and he's so hard to deal with because of his athleticism and his strength. But he had seasons where he was inconsistent. I'm thinking of his first couple of years at Chelsea. He didn't do great. Then he burst into life. And then he had another another couple off seasons, really, and then burst into life again. And then kind of the thing with Drogba is the difference between Kane and Drogba is Drogba always came into it in finals. That was the big difference.
That's the thing. I'll build on that and say Drogba's thing was that he always needed motivation. He needed somebody to push him to get the best out of him. Like, the best seasons we saw out of Didier Drogba was when he had the most competition for his spot. Like the 06-07 season, Andrei Shevchenko first came into the club and Roman was really trying to push him as the star striker. And Drogba was just like, no, and just bagged 20 goals that season for the first time in his Chelsea career. Then the 9-10 season, which, if we're going to talk about primes, like that's the season I am going to push in because Didier Drogba absolutely balled out disgustingly in that season. But yeah, the 9-10 season, Anelka just coming off the Golden Boot winner, beating Cristiano Ronaldo to the title. Drogba also was very out of favour with Luis Felipe Scolari the season before. Carlo Ancelotti speaks to him before pre-season, tells him that he's still in his plans, tells him that he needs to compete with Nicolas Anelka for the spot. You get a motivated Didier Drogba. Cup finals again, perfect example. A motivated Didier Drogba. Nothing beats Didier Drogba when he has competition. That's why I think the thing is. But same way with Harry Kane, like I think it's a complete opposite with him because you lot haven't really had anyone competing for his spot either, but the performances stayed the same.
Oh, we had Soldado. Come on, please. We had Soldado competing.
The only reason why I'm not saying anything about Soldado is because of our history with Spanish strikers.
So, yeah, like, true. You can't say much about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But look,
go on.
Looking at their careers overall in the Premier League between Drogba and Kane. Drogba played 254 games, scoring 104 goals. Decent record. But Kane has played 229 games, scoring 155 goals. So he's outscored Drogba by 41 goals in 30 less games, in 25 less games.
Ben, how long are you going to keep drip feeding me that? Because I know it's you. Or it's somebody behind the camera. I know it.
These aren't fake stats, mate. It's real. These are real stats.
Oh, okay, you brought up as well. Yes, I said I know I was digging myself into a hole, but I'm still gonna stand here and back King Didier Drogba himself. Like, I know where we're going. I know it's a Spurs channel. I know I'm not winning this debate.
I'm just saying you brought up. Okay, but as fair enough, as you said, you said as I said in my argument before, I said Gareth Bale wins it because at their very best, in that best season, I thought Bale was better than Hazard has ever been. Now you brought up that season with Drogba, right? No 9-10. You said that was his peak season and that was his best ever season, right? In that season, he played 32 games and he scored 29 goals. In Kane's best season, in our last season at White Hart Lane, he played 30 games and scored 29 goals.
I'm not winning this. I'm not winning. I can't be asked. Just put the name down, man. I can't be bothered.
I think Kane. I think apart from the difference is Drogba made a difference when it matters, but I think Kane was the better player overall.
I will take Kane for a league season. I will take Drogba for a cup run. Like, okay, we take that. Because that's the only way.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that because Drogba was so. I've never seen a player make so many differences in finals before. Like at Wembley he loved playing Wembley, didn't he? And I liked it because I think a few times it was against Arsenal, which I liked, and he always scored against Arsenal at Wembley. And you know what? That's one of the reasons I really like Drogba. Because he always scored against Arsenal, and it always made me so happy whenever I saw that. That was the reason I've got affection for him.
I thought you were going to say because the only time you saw him score at Wembley, you lot lifted the League Cup.
Oh, that's also true. He did score that day. Even when you lost the League Cup, he still scored. But that's the one thing these two strikers have in common: loved scoring against Arsenal.
Arsenal. That's the one thing me and you can actually agree on.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, we're going to put Harry Kane in there, and then the manager. I'm forced to go with Pochettino at the moment, unfortunately, and I think I know who you're going to go with.
How am I here batting for Jose Mourinho? What?
You're on a Spurs channel having to force Jose Mourinho on your side.
You know I love it. I'm not here for the Mourinho prop anyway. Big up Jose. You know I'm going for Mourinho anyway. The greatest manager that has ever stepped foot in Stamford Bridge. And I have no shame in admitting it either. I don't care. It's all love for Jose Mourinho. Absolute don. Yeah, Mourinho has to win this one. We're talking about winners. And Poch. I like Poch, but... Can't put his medal.
Yeah, I can't. No, I can't argue Poch over Mourinho. I even couldn't do it in peak Pochettino years. I couldn't argue it, so I definitely can't argue it now. But I want to know from your opinion, from an outsider. I know you're a rival fan, so you might be a bit biased. But how do you look at Mourinho now and how he's doing? What do you think?
It is the weirdest thing with him because it feels predictable with him. Like I can see how Mourinho's going to move just based on the state that your club is in. Like the way that you guys are playing, it just screams that Mourinho doesn't have 100% confidence in your team because Mourinho isn't all just negative football and park the bus. If he fully believes in the team, you can get free-flowing football out of it. 14-15 Chelsea is a huge example of it. But it's about confidence. You will remember the 5-3 loss at the Lane that season. You could basically put a mark in between there and say Chelsea before, Chelsea after. As soon as we went past that game, Mourinho's confidence in the entire team had dropped. We started playing way more pragmatic football, lost our attacking threat as well, and just got dragged to the title by Eden Hazard. I think Mourinho just has no confidence in your squad right now, and you lot are saying you need a serious rebuild and you need to get rid of a couple new players and bring them in. it's about a long-term thing with Jose, and you lot are probably questioning whether Jose's in there for the long term. I low-key actually think he is in there for the long term with you guys.
I think he is. I believe. I agree with you. He said actually in an interview that Spurs is probably the first project where he can see himself, where he needs to be here for the long term to achieve what he wants to achieve, and it's not a short-term project like maybe some of his other jobs have been.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like that wasn't even the main thing that I was thinking in the case of both the managers. For me, with Jose Mourinho, it was like when he was at Manchester United, the one biggest issue that they kept going back to was his family's in London. His family's in London. He has to live in this hotel in Manchester. He's away from his family. Now he's back in London, back with his family. And realistically, when he left United, it was only going to be you guys or Arsenal. Like, it was obvious that he was only going to come back to a London side. So if he's coming back to a London club, it's definitely going to be for a long-term job. It's not like, let me just wait till my kids have finished secondary school and then I might be able to take them off to another country or something. No, Mourinho's always wanted to try and build a long-term project with another club. I still think he's trying to figure out how to get past that 3-year plan because, again, it can be very predictable with Jose Mourinho sometimes. But as much as I hate to say it, you lot stick around long enough. If Jose Mourinho can get a tune out of that side, I already said, if Jose can't get you a trophy, nobody will get you a trophy. So I think Jose, I think you lot, it's bad times right now. Long may it continue, but Jose is the one that can take you out of it.
It's interesting the perceptions of Jose Mourinho, because the perception of Jose Mourinho is it turns toxic very, very quickly. He can't last. He never lasts long in a job, and he, it always turns sour with his players before he gets sacked. But when you think about his time at Chelsea, he is the longest-serving Chelsea manager since Abramovich took over, right?
Yeah, but same way, it's not really great competition either.
It's not great competition, but it's interesting when you probably wouldn't have thought that. You probably thought maybe someone would have lasted longer than him, given the fact that he has his reputation for turning things toxic very quickly, whereas some of your other managers don't have that same reputation. Yet they didn't last as long as Jose in the job.
Yeah, like with Jose, if anything, he was the first manager that I think this is the only club where he actually managed to go over 3 seasons at a club in his entire managerial career, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure, because the first spell, there was issues more with Roman Abramovich and Mourinho compared to Mourinho and the players. Maybe he had issues with Shevchenko as well, but he didn't want Shevchenko. He was just thrown onto him and just said, use him. And he had a massive knee injury. Awful signing, but that's the club's fault. The second spell, like, I'll be real, like going into 15-16, there was so many different issues going into that. Like before you even look at the managerial issues, we went straight off the 14-15 season into a post-season, which Mourinho already hated the idea of. Because of that, he gave the team an extra 2 weeks off instead of starting pre-season early, which meant that we were late going into pre-season. We also didn't win a pre-season match in 90 minutes the entire tournament. I remember we even got slapped 4-2 by New York Red Bulls B team, and we played our full A team. Like, signs were already there. Then the Eva and Jose beef. Then you've got I can't even describe the first half of 15-16. Like, it's literally just vibes. You got Ivanovic, who, by the way, I bigged up at the start, but 15-16 Ivanovic is like genuinely stunk the pitch out. Eden Hazard as well, like he came, I don't know if it was an injury or if he just came back overweight again. Yeah, Diego Costa playing at left wing. Literally, I cannot describe what was going on in the first half.
Still beat Arsenal though.
Yeah, still did the double.
Still beat Arsenal,
right? But that was just
that's all I care about.
Point. The same way, like, I can't 15-16. That's not Jose's fault. Like, you can't blame all of that on Jose, because there's so many different surrounding issues. There's so many different players that didn't turn up. Fact is, we were playing so badly, Willian was one of our most consistent players. If that's not shocking enough, like, that shows how bad we were as a club at that point.
All right, Lewis, that is the team. Let's run through it again. Petr Cech in goal, Kyle Walker right back, Ashley Cole left back, a back two of Terry and Ledley King, a midfield pivot of Modric and Claude Makelele, with Son, Lampard and Bale behind Harry Kane. So how many players did we get in there? We got quite a few. What, 6 players in there? It's all right. I'm quite happy with that. And Jose Mourinho is the manager, managed by Jose Mourinho.
No, you're going to count that as 6.5, aren't you?
6.5, yeah. Lewis, what's your prediction for Thursday?
It's Jose, so I'm just going to say 0-0 because I got my hopes up last time and look what happened. So I'm not getting my hopes up this time.
Last time we did a combined 11, you put Lampard ahead of Jose.
Did I? Ah,
you did.
I don't remember that.
That's an age. That's an age well.
Oh mate, yeah.
Werner was in the team. I think Havertz might be like a lot of all these heads were in it. I think it hasn't aged well since then.
This, you know, I just don't recall this. You've got video evidence, cool, but I don't recall it happening.
Anyway, Lewis, thanks a lot for coming on, mate, and it's been a pleasure as always. And if you want to see more, we're going to be having a preview on their channel, so go check out Blues Fans TV. We'll be linking the description below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.